And running number 2 in the championship, Christian Menzel, car number 99 from Germany. This is a very interesting field because we've got a couple of guest drivers, which of course, Craig Baird is one of them, and the other one is Danny Watts. Talk us through Craig Baird, who I think is a very interesting and potentially a race winner here.
Yeah, I think, first of all, I was speaking to Craig and I said, how do you feel to be here? And he said, mate, I'm desperate to win. So, and again, like Danny, you know, we've got two, let's call them wildcard entries for this race up against the 4 championship contenders, and they're both going to be setting off fireworks, I guarantee you. Craig has won, I understand, more Porsche motorsport events, Porsche Carrera Cup type races, than any other person on the planet. So he's competed in more than anybody else, I suspect. He's won the Australian Carrera Cup Championship twice, and he's won the New Zealand Championship 5 times, so he's
looking at Christian Menzel here coming down through to turn 14. Christian Menzel is now just 6 points away from top 7 in the championship, so they could
could be, you know, Saki comes here based on last year's results.
but your head looked like a bouncing pinball.
Well, that's normal for me, actually, Ken. But no, actually, I in the Porsches, you know, they're relatively, compared to Formula 1 cars, softly sprung. And I didn't think it was particularly bumpy, to be honest. And I thought the circuit was just a fantastic challenge. It was a great fun circuit. And, you know, when people design a racetrack using, as we see Darrell Young trying hard already, just to answer your question, how hard are they going to try it? This is it.
Very hard.
Lap 2, Darrell won it already, and he should be. This circuit is constrained by the existing roads, and I think the designers here have done a brilliant job of creating a racetrack that flows. The Macau Grand Prix circuit is 56 years old, and similarly, I mean, in Macau 56 years ago, they only had 2 races to use, and yet again, a racetrack that flows. Sometimes I look at modern Formula 1 circuits that are built on a clean sheet of paper, and they're not even half as good as what we have here in Singapore.
Looking now at Darrell Young, the reigning champion, who is also a 2-time champion, and obviously I think looking at the way the course is going, that's turn 8, I believe, coming along to Stamford Road, coming out to turn 9, which then heads down St Andrews Road. What are these guys going to be looking for in terms of setup? Some of these drivers, many of the drivers we saw last year, so there is familiarity. But is there going to be, I mean, obviously there are a number of, this is a big change, this is a big change. It's very slow. We saw the Formula BMW Pacific guys slow
and you can with these cars. That's another big difference to the F1 cars, as he goes over the Anderson Bridge and then hard on the brakes down to second gear. Very difficult there because the car is drive now, and this is a very, very fast part of the circuit. He'll come up to 5th gear and 200 kilometers an hour, believe it or not, which is, I think, somewhat of his speed. Down to 2nd gear here, and then we see Christian Menzel locking up the brakes. As I say, very difficult this circuit because very often you arrive at the braking zone.
That is the pit lane entry, which has been extended right the that we've seen this Christian Menzel, he's lit up the left-hand side. So what does that mean in terms of setup? Will it just something later on?
I don't think so. I think that he's locking that wheel up because the car is loaded on the right-hand side, on the opposite side to the one that's locking up. And I think that, you know, I can only say that he's warming himself up and he's not quite doing the perfect job yet. But I think